Blessed evening, collective. How's it going? Hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon, whatever day afternoon, or evening, or morning, or whatever time it is in your space. I'm pulling a reading for tomorrow. I'm gonna post it anyway. I don't do the whole scheduled whatever. It's just I pull a reading and then I post it. That's kind of how it works. But I'm gonna be busy the next 2 days, roughly. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually busy with things in my real physically manifested world. So, seeing as I'm not going to be able to pull on this energy tomorrow, most likely, and possibly not even the next day, I want to pull on Venus moving into Leo. It's exciting. It feels fucking amazing. I feel like I just got an ice cream cone. I don't know why. It's like someone just walked up and handed me a big heap and scoop of mint chocolate chip with a little bit of butter pecan. That is my favorite combination. Sometimes coffee ice cream, but those two. In a waffle cone. Yeah, big old chocolate dipped waffle cone. Maybe some sprinkles on top just for fun. It's exciting. It's exciting energy. It's just the way that I perceive it. It's getting people feeling like they can do it. I mean, that's what this has all been pushing towards. Again, energy doesn't change very quickly. And it all moves in cycles, right? Everything is in a cycle of some form. And it's also in layers. The energy has been swirling and concocting this formula for a long time, forever basically, but really it's been moving this. We've reached this stage of the recipe as of Lionsgate last year. That's when all of this started to shift this direction. You can keep looking back at the different stages, back to 2012, back to periods before that. 2012 was a significant one. It's when Ascension opened up for us, essentially, when this process really began in terms of humanity's ascension. Of course, you could say it began at any given further point because it's all been a part of the plan the whole time. It's all been a step in this direction. But we're moving into this phase of tremendous escalation, tremendous forward motion. It's bold, it's brave, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, it's reinvigorating. It is the pushing of the masculine towards the feminine in every level. Do with that what you want. It happens internally first. That means the seeking of our own soul. That means our own ego, our own mind, our own masculine element, seeking our own feminine element, which is the soul, which is intuition, which is feeling, empathy. It's the rise of those things. They are speaking louder now than the mind, and the mind is listening. It's hearing. It's seeing. This is the way. It's been missing this key for so long. The key to satisfaction, the key to good feeling, the key to living happily ever after, the key to understanding itself, to embodying its own authentic being, to aligning with its own energy, to following its own destined path. All of these things falling into place, being shown to us, revealed by the energy, aligning in the way that it is. It is creating this repeated message that just gets more and more detailed. We receive the same lessons, always do. Lessons repeat until they are learned. But it keeps cycling until we get it, and it's moving faster. The cycles are repeating more quickly. It's, no, you missed it, well, here's another chance. Here's another chance. Here's another chance. Instead of it taking a really long time for it to come back around, or even another lifetime. It's just, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. The universe is gonna keep giving it to us until we get it, because now is the time. It's the time for all of this to take place. It is the time for consciousness to ascend. It is the time for energies to balance. They are balancing. They have balanced in higher dimensionality. Energetically, that's already taken place. It's time for that shift to follow through in fourth, third dimension. So, a lot of this hinges on this Venus moving into Leo, which then on the same day, tomorrow, has a conjunction with Pluto and Aquarius. The way I feel it, and this is just the way I feel it, I am not an astrologer. The way that I feel this energy is, again, not just recognizing new desires, the realization of these long-held, deeply repressed desires as well, but the feeling that they are possible, that it's actually not just possible, but it makes sense. It actually makes sense to go after this thing. And because it makes sense, we start to line up with our own energy. The masculine, which wants things to make sense, lines up with the soul, which is pushing for the desire and supports it the way that is intended. Masculine energy supporting the feminine energy on top, you see. So it's creating this push towards new, towards expansion, towards things that seemed terrifying at one point in time. But now we have this new growing sense of bravery, this impulse, this passion for forward motion. Also powerfully enforced by the Sagittarius new moon we just had. We have this infusion of fire energy, which we are moving towards the summer solstices where as well all of this fire energy is coming in. It's masculine, but it's a specific element of the masculine. It's the projective, it is the penetrative, it is the bold forward motion that encourages us to go. And it's go time. It's go time. Energetically, that's what it is. There is no time in the energy. Everyone is at a different place on their path, on their journey, in the cycles of this. But it's all connected, and it will all play out. I don't predict timelines, but I'm not divining into some future non-specified date of years from now. I am focused on the energy that I can feel, that is present here. Free will is always a factor. We can ignore the present energies. For a long time, we were able to ignore it pretty well. That's diminishing also. Our ability to ignore this energy, because the pressure is increasing. Our souls are waking up. The resistance is diminishing. So the ability to ignore the energy when it's present is also diminishing. It's time for a big change, for a whole new world. And it just, again, it makes sense. It seems real. It seems possible. It seems like the practical thing, and we misuse that word. Doesn't matter. It seems like the thing that actually makes sense to put into practice. And there we have the soul leading exactly that. It's just, it's lit. It's all clear. And the Hierophant underneath. This is some spiritual shit, as Steve Love Tarot likes to say. This is spiritual shit. This is divine guidance. Humanity. It is souls waking up for the purpose of creating new earth. But that starts now. It starts at the ground floor. It starts with us beginning to follow our souls. Inspiration, good feeling impulse. King of Wands crossing the Hierophant. It's time for the ego to be sublimed. It's time for it to see that it hasn't been serving itself, even. It hasn't been following its own impulses, following its own desire. It's been stopping itself. It's been stabbing itself in the foot. It wants something and then it stops it. It feels the impulse to go towards something and then it pulls back out of fear. It's just been this constant push and pull with no actual motion. It's being realized. The way to stop that, the way to achieve balance, happiness, all that you desire, is just to stop the resistance. The resistance only comes from the ego. The soul never resists. The soul is just wide open flow. It's emotion. It's just flowing. This is being realized by the ego. Realized, big time. King of Truth underneath, King of Swords, which is bookending that Ten of Pentacles. Got some dogs realizing some truths outside too. Yeah, it's time to take action. It's time to follow the soul. It's time to make a long-term change, to change something that's been a long-standing pattern and replace it with a new behavior, with one that is not fear-based, with one that is based on truth. Fear doesn't live in the mind. Fear lives in the mind. Truth doesn't live in the mind. I'm sorry. A little distracted by the dogs, but it's not a bad thing. It's time, and as I'm looking at this, the card that wants to come off the top is this Two of Pentacles that keeps coming back. It just keeps coming back. It's time, again, time to go green. Green means go. You don't just sit at the light when it turns green. Lightning bolt energy here. That flash of truth, that flash of inspiration, of impulse. It's time to follow it. It's time to follow what we know to be true and not fear. All right, let's see. Why am I here pulling on this reading? Just tell me in general, why? I know it's because I want to. But what's the gist of this? Judgment. Yep. It's time to fly. It's time to ascend. It's time to move beyond thought, to not be trapped by it. Again, let me correct myself one more time. Fear lives in the brain. Fear doesn't live in the soul. Truth doesn't live in the brain. Truth lives in the soul. It's time to stop following fear and let truth lead us. Let the good feeling impulse lead us. It's a bat out of hell energy. It's just a fire lit under somebody's ass. I am pulling on the soulmate cycle. It's time to move. It's time to get a move on, get a groove on. I don't know how else to say it. It is somebody also seeing it's time for something truly new. It's time to start being new, being different, being the authentic self, to start living and embodying our truth. Look at that. The card after the cut is the Two of Cups. I'm pulling on the soulmate cycle. It's time for this truth. It's time to unite with ourselves. It is time to unite with soulmates of every kind. Soulmates are not just romantic. I would like to reiterate that. In fact, the majority of them are not. Every person that you meet is some form of soulmate. The significant ones, the ones we have deeper connections with, are here to teach us something, to help us grow our energy, to help us relieve karma, all of these things. Again, that happens in a multitude of ways. It can be through a friendship, it can be through a family relationship, a business partnership, it can be something as brief as a passing interaction with someone. You overhear a conversation, or you have a very brief conversation with them, but it shifts something within you. It gives you this peace. It unlocks something that allows you to shift your perspective and your consciousness. It's time to move towards this. And you can hear from the dogs barking and from the excited skittering of the cat. There's a lot of excitement in this. There's a lot of passion. It's forward motion. It's kind of just taking off running, that sort of energy. So let's pull a reading. Pulling on the soulmate cycle from the angle of as specifically influenced by Venus moving into Leo, including that conjunction with Pluto and Aquarius, which I think is more important than maybe is being referenced, but Venus moving into Leo is the significant aspect here. So, okay, I just dropped a whole block of cards that I'm going to look at. Let's see. Obviously, we have the 8 broken cups. At the bottom here, what fell out? Judgment, again, fell out. What's crossing that? Ace of Pentacles, long time coming. And it's, again, that long-standing change. This has taken a long time. King of Wands, crossed by the Queen of Pentacles underneath that. It is the runner energy. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's the Burger King. You can tell I'm a little tired of the whole runner thing being a part of this cycle. But it's what it is. It's in the energy. It's just here to be balanced. The Divine Feminine very often reflects as the Queen of Pentacles. The Divine Masculine very often reflects as the King of Wands. It's taken a long fucking time for the Burger King to admit there needs to be a change, that this behavior isn't serving them, that they made a mistake, that they've been sitting in something toxic, that they have ignored the potential of anything else, a potential out, potential change to this behavior. But they can't unsee it now, because the deck just split on the Fool with the 8 broken cups. They are obviously broken. There's no putting this back together. This is the Humpty Dumpty of cups, okay? Once it's broken, once you see that, it never goes back together. They can't unsee this. Masculine energy cannot unsee the things that they need to walk away from. And they can't ignore the impulse to do it. What's more, justice is crossing this. It's time for a conversation. It's time for a change. Whether or not that's a conversation with an external 3D person or a conversation within the self, it's time for this to take place. It is time for this balance to happen, for this shift. It's time to walk away from that which is no longer serving us, which is King of Wands behavior. What is King of Wands behavior? It's ego-based. It's fear-based. It's that which wants to control, to cling to, which is concerned with the way that others perceive us and respond to us. It wants to manipulate. It's people-pleasing. It's narcissism. It's all of those things. People-pleasing is just a form of narcissism. It's all manipulative. Again, fear-based, controlling behavior, not the way that divine deliberate creators operate. It's time to release that. We're not taking that with us. That is not a part of New Earth. It's just not. It's heavy. It's dense. It's illusory. It's deception. It's delusion. We're leaving it behind. And that starts with leaving behind all of the elements of that old life, that old way of being. I'm going to put, well, no, they jumped out, so I guess I'm keeping these cards out for now because the shuffle was finished. This is the base energy. It's time to fly. To get the fuck away from this old way of being. What is on top? Energy of the connection. Specifically pulling on the soulmate cycle. Death. Can I pull any more powerful cards? Also, black and white. It's in plain sight. It's in black and white. If there was any confusion at any point, there was any possible way to deny this, there just isn't anymore. The connection is being highlighted. The path is being highlighted. It's being not just shown, but delivered. Everything else is being dimmed down. It's like being in a theater and the house lights dim and one single spotlight is lit. That's the connection. That is the soulmate connection. The lessons cannot be ignored. The path cannot be ignored. It is abundantly clear what needs to happen. And by need, I mean want. What wants to happen? Nothing needs to happen. It's all desire. It's all based on want. Energy wants to balance. Balanced energy feels good. You want to feel good. Your soul designed this path because you chose it, because you desired it. That's why all of this is taking place. You want to walk away from 8 broken cups. because they don't feel good. And because you're walking towards what does feel good. This is the contrast. Contrast serves us by being contrast. We've just misunderstood for so long how that works. And instead of letting it serve us by being the contrast and going, oh, these cups are broken, let me not drink from them anymore. When I do that, it hurts. I cut up my lips. They don't hold anything. Let me go find some not broken cups. Thank you, broken cups, for showing me that this isn't what I want. What I want is something different. Now I go towards that. Instead of that, we try to make the broken cups work. We go, well, maybe I just kind of piece them back together. Maybe I can make this feel better. Maybe I just have to live with it. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm just supposed to suffer. Maybe they're not supposed to be whole cups. Maybe my lips are supposed to bleed when I drink from them, and I'm just supposed to be okay with that. No, you're not. Pain is supposed to be pain so that you learn, don't do the thing that is painful. It's not there to punish you. It's there to teach you. But when you don't let it teach you by acknowledging it as pain, then you punish yourself by staying in it. That's it, entirely. All suffering is self-created. What's in the 3D? Suffering that is self-created. Is discombobulated. I mean, it's 9 of Swords. Yeah, anxiety. This is what happens when you stay in the 8 broken cups. This is your mindset when you try to make this work. It feels like shit. You live in resistance. Resistance is imbalanced energy. It feels like anxiety, like pain, like self-perpetuated suffering. This cannot continue. There's nervousness here too. Nervousness about the dramatic nature of this change that needs to take place, that is taking place. But again, it's this realization that this doesn't work. This doesn't feel good. It can't be denied. It cannot be ignored. This isn't it. I know this isn't it. And that is very scary to the ego. It's very scary to the masculine energy. But it cannot be sustained. Again, in plain black and white, all of these cards, struck by the lack of color here. It's abundantly clear. And where is the color? Where is this beautiful pop of color? In the Justice, in moving towards balance. That's where life returns, light returns, the good feeling. What's in the Soul position? Look at that. It can't be denied. This, I mean, it's red with death. Denying the soul, denying the path that we desire, denying justice, divine justice. Oh, look at that. I pushed too far and there's temperance underneath, which is angel energy, which, yeah, this is overpowering this. When we try to shut down the soul, this is the result. Pain, suffering. It's being realized. And that is how the ego comes to serve itself, by realizing its own bullshit. By seeing the fear is only keeping it down. You start to use reverse psychology on yourself. When you notice that you're suppressing soul energy, you're suppressing the good feeling impulse because of fear, you start to go, oh, well, let me just do the thing that ego seems to be afraid of. That's how I follow this. That's how it serves me. That's the real information here. Even if I'm not sure what the good feeling impulse is, I feel the bad feeling. And I can turn and face the other direction from that. I can walk a different direction. I can walk away from the bad feeling and trust and know I'm moving towards the good feeling as I do that. This is interesting though. The bullshit's not sticking. It can't stick anymore. The soul is sneaking through one way or another. And the soul has almost become the slippery energy, which it is kind of like, it's that oil that slides underneath everything. Again, it's just lifting the stagnant, the devil energy, the fear energy off. It doesn't have the hold that it once did. And as much as it scrambles, it's just not gaining any traction. It's like the cartoon of somebody running on the floor, and they're running so fast they don't go anywhere. That's what it is. The devil energy is it's just scrambling, but it can't move. It can't gain traction anymore. The soul is still pushing everything through. What's the hidden energy of the universe? There's that color. Exactly what we're walking towards. Whether we knew it or not, the runner energy, as much as it ran, it never understood. It was just moving towards this the whole time. The further it tried to run, the stronger the pull became towards this, towards the soul connection. It was always going to be this way. It's that song, I ran so far away, I couldn't get away. I mean, it doesn't, it's like, it's like trying to run around the earth. You can run as far as you can run on this earth, and guess what? You end up where you started. It was always going to be that way. You can't get away from this. You can't stay out of the blessings of the universe. You can't fall off the soul path. You can't miss your destiny. It comes to you. It is inevitable. Resistance is futile. The soul will win. The universe will win. Even when you think you're winning, you're still serving the universe. It's just the way that it works. As far into shadow as you go, it's still serving light. That's all it ever does. As far as you think you're getting from yourself, you're only ever learning more about yourself. It's the way it is. As far as you think you're walking away from 9 cups and staying here, you just end up at the 9 cups. It's being delivered. It can't be stopped. What's in the potential outcome position? Look at that. The devil. It's obsession. It's obsession. One way or another, we're going to look at this. One way or another, we cannot deny, number 1, the bullshit. Number 2, that the bullshit isn't working anymore. And number 3, I can't quite hold 3 fingers up. Number 3, how obsessed and passionate we are about the connection. The one that we've tried to deny, that we've tried to keep down. That's just what it is. Again, it's the mechanisms of ego being revealed to itself. Once that illusion is revealed, once ego sees how it's been working against itself, it all starts to fall apart. It starts to dissolve. Ego is destined to dissolve. It wants to. That is its desire. Ultimately, once it begins to realize that, it starts to dismantle itself. It's happening one way or the other. It can't be stopped. It can't be fought. The devil is tired of being the devil. Devil wants to transition. Shadow wants to be sublimed, to return to its station as light. It's realizing that that's what it is. It's remembering that's what it is. It wants that. Now that it sees a different way, it remembers how good that feels. It wants to feel good. And it's not going to stop. It's Hanged Man at the bottom of this deck. It is a whole new perspective, one that cannot be taken back. This is new ground that we can't lose. Once it is under our feet, once we are standing at this new precipice and we see clearly everything before us, we don't forget it. It never turns back. Consciousness doesn't regress. It can't diminish itself. It can't turn back off. The soul doesn't go back to sleep. It only gets more and more awake. It's underneath that. Look at the Nine of Cups. Yeah. We know what we want because we know with clarity what we don't want. Again, that is how it works. But the contrast is serving us in the way it's intended. It's almost this forced perspective shift. Nothing is really forced, but it's just the way it works. You're not forced to think about pink elephants when I say pink elephants, but it just pops in, right? It's natural. This shift is so natural, and once it takes place, it doesn't go back. And it pushes us. The flow is wide open. Ace of Cups, Knight of Swords, Ten of Cups. We want to feel good. Ego wants to feel good. The masculine wants to feel good. It's understanding. It hasn't been doing that. In fact, it's been preventing itself from that. And it's seeing how it's been shooting itself in the foot. It's been self-sabotaging by restricting the flow of emotion. What it wants is to follow emotion, is to feel, is to flow with it. That's actually where the good feeling is in the unrestricted, unmitigated flow of the soul, which is the self, which is emotion. And it's just flowing. It's not turning off. We can't cork this bottle again. That's not how it works. It's been unsealed. I mean, the volcano has exploded. You can't put the lava back in. That's just what it is. And it's not going to stop flowing either. Doesn't matter if you try to put a boulder on top of it. It's going to melt right through. Tell me about death. Tell me about death, universe. Why is the death card here? Tell me about death. Six of Pentacles. One way or another, things are coming to balance. Yeah, I mean, the environmental energy around this transformation, which is the connection. The transformation is taking place one way or another. The balance is happening one way or another. It's time to stop giving to the things that aren't serving us and start giving to the things that give back. It's just mutual reciprocity. Yeah, there we go. Page of Pentacles on top. The lessons are being learned one way or another. All karmic debts are paid. They are being collected. Again, resistance is futile. The ego is waking up to itself. It realizes it's been giving to things that didn't feel good, that aren't what it wants. Now it has the chance to move towards what it does, to give to what it does want. It's that simple. And it has a desire to. Once that desire is self-realized by the ego and the soul together, you're operating in unison with your own energy. And you can't ever tolerate resistance the same way again. What's right with that? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, again, that feminine energy. There is... the feminine has taught the masculine. We've taught each other. That's been a part of this whole cycle, is for us to both learn lessons to grow our energies. But the masculine is learning. It's watching, it's learning, it's understanding. This is the path. It's the path to everything that it wants, to feeling good. Feminine is sitting pretty. There's a lot of heart energy here. There's this heartfelt appreciation. I was feeling gratitude with this. It's a lot of pentacles, but it's a new sense of stability. Yeah, just the push is towards the feminine in appreciation and understanding. You have the key. You are the key. This is the path. The path is for masculine to follow, to support, to serve feminine. And no, I'm not talking about people literally serving each other. I hope you know. I trust that the collective on this channel is beyond that type of thinking. It's self-service, but it is the realization that internally, especially, masculine ego wants to sublime to feminine, the soul. Once that happens, we're free to work with those who represent those polarities of energy in a more significant way in that pattern. It's a balance, it's a flow. Yeah, there's a lot of appreciation here that can't be denied. Tell me about this 9 of Swords. It's driving somebody absolutely bonkers. Just up the wall. That they haven't taken action on this. That they want to. It's just... It's obsession. It's not even borderline obsession. It's actual obsession. Card that just fell out. Okay, first of all... Oh, I got multiple cards that fell out. Hang on. Crossing energy. Environmental is 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, nothing feels good. It all feels wrong. Nothing feels good except moving towards this connection. Moving towards the feminine. Everything else feels like shit. What's on top? This block of cards that fell out. I got another 4 cards. The Tower, crossed by 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to give to the same things anymore. It's not sustainable. It's immediate, it's instant regret. It's like a shock collar. It's as soon as I do that thing that I used to be able to do and bullshit myself and get away with, as soon as I do that, it hurts. And I realize this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. What isn't gonna work? Holding back the emotion. 8 of Swords crossed by King of Cups. This behavior, this stinginess with the giving to the wrong things, giving to the things that made practical sense, and furthermore withholding from the things that didn't make practical sense. That's even greater pain. Withholding the emotion just because it was scary, because on the surface it didn't seem logical. Love is not logical. Love transcends all logic. It is pure emotion. It's not meant to be thought about. It's meant to be felt and followed. I'm actually putting these cards back. I want to see what's on top here. So what is on top? 10 of Pentacles, everything feels wrong. The clear answer is to express, is to open up. So much has been bottled up, repressed, that it's exploding out. What's on top? Yeah, they want new. More pages, more willing pages. It's not just the immature, it's not that kind of energy. It's fresh. It's this desire for new. We are being infused with this new energy that has courage in it. Childlike courage, right? The kind that doesn't question, that doesn't think about it, it just goes for it. It sees what it likes and it goes towards it. That's it. And they want something new, and they want to make this work. Let's read with that devil and the devil. Yeah, it's just the devil is being exposed. They don't want this anymore. They don't want... All of the environmental energy feels different now. Everything that we had built around us that once felt good, that we could pretend, we could lie to ourselves. Do I have a little spider here? What is this? I have a little bug. It's not a spider. It is some kind of flying aphid-like creature. It's not an aphid either, but curious. Our little friend visiting. I don't want to squish it. It's quite small. Yeah, it's just, they see all the bullshit. They see how unhappy they've been making themselves. All suffering is self-created. It's being realized. And there's this realization that we've surrounded ourselves with things that don't feel good. And the answer to get happy, to get feeling good again, is to leave, is to get out of that. They want something new. Yes, there's nervousness and anxiety about it, but there's an antsiness. There's a desperation to get away from this toxic energy that they realize they have created. Masculine energy realizes it's created, put it that way. Again, once the illusion is revealed, once ego sees itself, tricking itself, lying to itself, subverting its own desires, seeing that it's not serving itself, it doesn't want to do that anymore. It forms this new desire, which is to sublime, which is to stop listening to ego and listen to the soul. It's saying, sayonara, ego, I want something new. I'm not putting up with this. I see through it. I see what you're doing, and it's not working. There's a different way. That way is following the feminine. I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. That's what I'm doing. Tell me about this 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords in the soul. It's interesting. The masculine energy has shut down the soul, the feminine, for so long. But it's not working. It's not working anymore. Yeah. Knight of Cups. It's not working. It's the soul knows what it wants. The soul wants emotion. It wants cups. It wants to flow. It wants to express freely. What's on top? 10 of Swords. Yeah, no more bullshit. No more bullshit. It's time to deliver the cup. That's what it is. And it's time to get this filled, too. Again, same message. I mean, I could just repeat this ad nauseum, that the ego is realizing it's not happy with itself, that it's stopped itself with its own bullshit from actually doing what it wants, from actually following good feeling and desire. Once that illusion is revealed, it never can go back. It never has the same grip again. It just starts to fall apart. It starts to dissolve. Ego starts to dissolve itself because it wants to. What's right with that? King of Pentacles. Yeah. Letting go of the security blanket, stabilizing. This is that very stable energy, especially with the Queen in proximity here. It's just ego understanding. It needs to follow the soul. The soul knows what it's doing. Ego, the mind, the masculine, just needs to step out of the way. That's it. That's how all the good things happen. It's the releasing of resistance. You can only resist with the ego. The soul is wide open flow. When the ego just steps out of its own way, when you get out of your own way, everything balances itself. When you let go of that fear, of that bullshit, of that security blanket, whatever it is, everything just takes off. The cork bobs to the surface. There's nothing else additional you have to do to it. The soul energy, it's on top. It's rising to the top. Ego starts to automatically dissolve and balance once it wakes up to itself. Why is this 9 of Cups here? Let's talk to the universe. Tell me about the 9 of Cups. Yeah, it wants to feel good. All anybody ever wants, all ego wants, is to feel good. And the soul knows how to get it. how to get there, knows that you deserve it. You're worthy of it right now. Here's how we get there. You stop trying to step in front of yourself, stepping on your own feet, and you let me lead the way. Barely get this back together. Yeah, it's the Emperor. Here's how you get to the 9 cups, masculine energy. You let go of control. You get up out of the chair and you go get yourself some water. You go towards the nourishing thing. You stop trying to control and you allow what's on top. Queen of Cups. You get up and you get yourself some water. She's thirsty. She's thirsty. This is the thirsty desert queen. She's gonna have to get up. She knows how to receive the nourishment. She knows how to fill her cup. She's got to get up and go get some water. That's it. She's got to do it for herself. That's where the good feeling, the emotional fulfillment is found, in the surrender, in the vulnerability. This is being learned. It's being understood. It's getting through. What's read with that Queen of Cups? Yeah, 4 of Wands. Balance. Realizing that vulnerability feels good. Again, it's just the energetic principle of you follow your emotion, you follow the guidance of the soul. That is the flow of your own energy. When you do that, it feels good. You balance the energy. The only thing that ever stops you from doing that is the ego, is the mind, generating fear, illusion, saying there's some risk or threat in it. When you see past that and you just do it anyway, you realize there was no risk, there was no threat, the outcome never mattered. It was just about you following where the soul was leading you. That's how you fill your own cup, balance your own energy, feel good, sustain that forevermore by your own ability. You are self-sustaining, you are self-satisfying when you let the soul, the feminine, lead. Masculine energy at every level is realizing this. That's how you do it. That's how you feel good. That is the secret. It's long-term balance. It's the path of stability. It is the path to the 10 of Pentacles, which is everything, right? Everything that you want. Everything that you want is to feel good. This is how you feel good. Why is the Devil here? Devil in the final outcome position. I'm mostly drawn to his eyes. Eyes and feet. It's just obsessive. Yep, and that's it. Can't stop. Yeah, looking. Obsessively looking. Can't stop looking. It's spying. It's big time spying energy. I mean, we got all pages here. Yeah, the soul is spying this. I mean, and that's what happens too, is whether or not you think you're consciously thinking about something, when your energy has flowed, that's where it is. It's over there. It's looking. I mostly get spying. I don't even really feel anything else. It's just this obsessive staring. What's on top? 2 of Swords. It's 2 truths. One is toxic. One is not. Yeah, I mean, before I say anything, what's read with that 2 of Swords? There's Leo energy. There's the Strength card. They can't deny it. It can't be blocked out. Again, even the more they try to put on the blindfold, the more masculine energy tries to go back to fooling itself. It's that instant shock reaction. The harder it gets, the more painful it becomes to do that. The old tricks aren't working. They can't just put the blindfold back on. Every time they try, it results in more anxiety, in more tension, which drives further towards the release. It's like every time they try to turn away from the soul connection, soulmate connection, and the lessons being highlighted there, It's just blown up bigger in front of them. There's no way to look away from it. There is no direction that doesn't include it. It just gets louder and louder. It's look, motherfucker. Look. Look at your behavior. Look at the things you have done unconsciously. Look at the way your own mind has deceived you. What are you going to do about it? You're not happy with this. You have to make a choice not to listen to the mind anymore. You have seen it's not to be trusted. It is not guiding you appropriately. It's not following real logic. It's false logic. It's leading you everywhere you don't want to go. What does that mean? It means stop listening to it and listen to the soul. It's just, yeah, where the obsessive energy is working in favor of the soul. Shadow is always in service of light, but it's just everything is being turned on its head. And again, the tricks, the things that used to work for masculine energy to repress feminine are having the opposite effect. They do the same things, they behave in the same ways, and the result is the feminine energy gets stronger. Rather than it being suppressed and pushed down, the emotions get stronger, the impulse gets stronger. It just makes it more and more. It's just adding to it. It's its own unique positive feedback loop that the universe has found this way to use. It's using negative energy, or devil energy, technically. I'm not going to get into that. It's using devil energy to serve itself, to actually release itself. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's what it is. That is what it is. Now I'm going to put these Judgment cards and the King of Wands. Yeah, I mean, the Burger King is not happy with itself. It's not happy with his own behavior. It's time for that to change. Final 3 cards from the universe. I am going to pull from the bottom. I'm going to pull from the bottom this time. 3 cards from the universe. And a crossing card. Technically 4 cards. Whatever you want to say. Summarize, wrap this up. Oh, okay. Yep, that's it. Why am I not surprised? 4 of Cups. There it is. There it is. Somebody who rejected something. That, yep. Somebody from the past. Someone that rejected something in the past. It was a deep connection. And I got a new perspective on it. It's time. It's harvest time. It's time for something to come back around, because there we have the star crossing the 6 of Cups. I mean, I can't even, I don't know how to put another spin on this energy. What's under that star? Yeah, the Knight of Swords. It's go time. It's just the destined path can't be escaped. You can't fall off of it. And it's not just being revealed at this point, it's being delivered. It is being placed beneath our feet, very clearly, highlighted, shown to us. Old manifestations, stuff that's been held up for a long time, stuff that you thought would never come around. This is another layer. It's coming. It's coming. It's been blocked up for a long time. It's not blocked anymore. It's unleashing. All of it is unleashing in this torrent, the same torrent that is pushing masculine energy towards feminine energy. It's just all of destiny is flooding in, true soul's path and purpose. It was always going to be this way. It was always going to work. I'm not talking about specific outcomes or connections or anything like that, but the soul's path, the destined progression of your soul on this path, of each of our souls, of the collective soul, was always going to take place. The lessons were always going to be learned. The blessings were always going to come in. And now they are the manifestations that have been held, manifestations from past lives. This is deep in the vortex. And again, that's what you want. Really, what you want is to let the universe surprise and delight you. What you want is to say, give me what is in my vortex, that which I've added to over lifetimes, that which my soul knows, my conscious mind, my human mind can't even comprehend the amount of contrast and clarity I've received that I'm not in touch with when I'm not in touch with my soul. Let me just let the soul deliver it. It knows what I want. It knows better than the ego does. I release all that I think I desire to receive that which I truly deserve, that which I really want at the soul level, that which is going to just light me up in more ways than I could have ever even planned or imagined or hoped for. All of that is coming in. I want to know what's under that 9 of Wands. I knew it was good. I knew it was good. The sun. Here comes the sun. It's been a long time, little darling. Here comes the sun. It's coming. And quickly, faster than it appears. Because it just is. Because it's just time for it. Because the energy has aligned. Because the cosmic clock has ticked into this place. The gears have shifted. We have unlocked this new level. The mechanism has been triggered. Whatever way you want to put it. Again, it's that water lock. We have ascended from the previous lock. The water level has risen. Now that the gate is shut behind us. That water level doesn't go back down. It can't. Ever again. It doesn't. It's only up from here, which means only more refined connections, only more cooperative components, only more desired manifestation in more refined ways. That always includes contrast, always, because contrast is desired. It's necessary for clarity. It is what we want. It always serves us, and it can feel good when you let it serve us, when you let it serve yourself. It's all coming in, one way or another. The point is to understand, too, that you are in control of feeling good at all times. When you're masculine, your ego is in service of your feminine, your soul. You're in union with yourself. You're in alignment with your own energy. That feels good. And that's it. You feel good just because. All within your own power. Wholly independent of, removed from any external circumstance. Even your own flow of emotion. You know how to navigate that. You learn more and more how to navigate that in a new way to let it serve you. To let the good feeling of it be found by the power of your perspective. It's always there for you. There's always a way to feel good and not repress emotion, not try to make contrast something other than it is. Let it be contrast. It changes everything. When you let things be as they are, when you surrender to that, you cast all of it in this new light that reveals the beauty of it to you. You feel this new level of appreciation for all that is exactly as it is without seeking to change it within or without. You're just allowing yourself to rise, allowing the cork to bob to the surface. And it feels good. And the result is you feel good more of the time. You can feel good pretty much all of the time. Not the same level of good. I'm not saying it's always bliss, la-di-da, but there's always good feeling to be found in every moment. I promise you that. And that is our path as divine deliberate creators. That is our destined birthright as the spiritual beings we are, to discover that we are deserving, worthy, and capable of feeling good all the time. Just more and more levels, different levels of good, different flavors of it, variations. It is amazing. It is our path. Everything is coming in. Masculine energy cannot look away from feminine. It's been the case for some time, but the longer they've been unable to look away, the more obsessive this gaze has become. They can't move any other direction. They are beginning to realize this whole time they've been walking towards the feminine. It's the same as when you're driving a car and you look at something, you start to turn that direction, whether or not you realize it. You start moving that direction when you're watching something. That's why so many people get in accidents passing the scenes of accidents. It's called rubbernecking, right? Because you're looking at something and you don't realize your body is turning that direction. It's the same result here. Same effect, same result. They can't look away. They can't walk towards anything but this. Masculine energy can't look away from feminine energy, can't walk towards anything but this. Said in another way, ego is dissolving itself because it wants to. That's all it is. That is the whole message. That's everything I have for you. This resonates powerfully for me. I do intend that it resonates for you, my beautiful viewer. I would love to know. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you feel so inclined. But I'm proud of this. I'm excited for this. This is the direction that humanity is moving. We are evolving. We are transcending. We are ascending. And that is assured. One way or another, you cannot outrun the blessings. You cannot buck this current of well-being we got going on. You can't be anything but supported, loved, and appreciated by the universe and all that is. It's time to get blessed. It's time to get happy. It's time to take control of your good feeling. That is the whole message. All I got. I wish you a blessed evening. And just know, every vector, time and space, always and in all of the ways. Source loves you. Universe loves you. I love you.